So, hi everybody, I'm Shaun, and I'm going to talk to you about the effort that we did recently to revamp our web and our docs. And this is titled Web Revamp. We did it, sort of. So I'm going to take you through some of the problems we were trying to solve and what we accomplished, and then like what we didn't do, right? Because we wanted to get this stuff published. We were actually trying to do it at the same time as the CentOS Stream 10 and Apple 10 release announcement. And like if we waited for everything to be perfect, then all of the engineers working on CentOS Stream 10 and Apple 10 would still be waiting for us to make their announcement, right? And then they'd all get very mad at me. So first I will take you through some old and busted and new hotness. Some of the things that were kind of wrong with the website and our docs as well, and what we wanted to do. So our old website, which was a nice website, I liked it, but it was designed around this two versions. So there was CentOS comes in two versions: CentOS Linux and CentOS Stream. And as you know, we recently actually discontinued the CentOS Linux 7, which was the last version of CentOS as a rebuild project. So that went end of life earlier this year. And then what we did with the website was that little box went away. And then the box for CentOS Stream was just kind of big there, and it looked kind of silly because it was like it wasn't designed for that. And so what we wanted to do was to showcase Stream as our primary deliverable, but to also talk about some of the other stuff that we do, the stuff that our SIGs produce. So like, Hyperscale produces a variant basically of CentOS Stream or different packages and stuff, and you can just consume CentOS with the Hyperscale stuff. So that's one example, but there's various things that you could run other than just raw CentOS Stream. So we wanted to highlight all of that. Old and busted, our doc site only had a contributor's guide, and it was mostly empty. So it wasn't terribly useful. There was some old contributor information on the wiki, which we took down about a year ago. The SIG docs was actually pretty good. We had it at sigs.centos.org, and a lot of our SIGs, not all of them, but a lot of our SIGs had documentation on it, and they were pretty active in keeping their stuff up to date. So our SIG docs were pretty decent, but they were in another place from our docs. And then we had our infra docs were in another place. So it was a little bit confusing to try to find all of our documentation. We wanted to just have a single doc site where you could go and you could see, here's how I contribute to the project, here's information about CentOS Stream, here's information about the SIGs and how the infra works. I mentioned the wiki. So, well, last year actually, it was a result of a doc day that we did here at FOSDEM last year, and we went through and said, okay, we've got to take down the wiki. It had a lot of problems, but not least of which is that it was running on CentOS Linux 7, and that was going EOL. So we had to do something, and we worked through like, okay, we can move this content here, we can do this stuff with that. But we didn't get everything moved, and we just at some point had to discontinue the wiki. And so there's a wiki archive up. You can find an archive of all the information that was on there, but it's not anymore a primary source of information. And so now that it's gone, there was information that was the primary source of truth for. So what are all of our special interest groups? That was wiki.centos.org/special interest group. What are the events that we're putting on or that we're present at? Stuff like that. We no longer had a source of information for. So the new hotness was to find a new home for all of this information. So this is the new website, and you could see on it that we highlight CentOS Stream and CentOS Hyperscale right now, and we use that space there just to advertise CentOS Connect. I suppose I should probably take that banner down because I don't think anyone's flying to Brussels right now to join us. But and then below that we have a list of our special interest groups, and it's cut off at 3 for the screenshot. But if you scroll down, you see I think 3 more, and then a link to a button that shows you all of them. Actually, I have a screenshot of that a little bit later. And this is our new doc site. It's not quite as themed. It's MK Docs, but it's very usable. And you can see that we have it's highlighted on right now the quick docs section, but the CentOS stream docs are there, and then all of our various SIG stuff, our infra and our various other SIGs, is all listed on a single doc site. So we did it. This is the part where I do the we did it and sort of. And this one, actually, I don't have a sort of on this. We launched this new website, and the new design came from Elaine, who runs our artwork SIG. And so huge kudos to Elaine and to Fabian, who does all of our infra, because I know Fabian was working when it was already evening for me, and he's in Europe, so it was a lot later for him. Both of them were putting in some kind of crazy work to help us get this stuff done. And thanks everybody who's been at like the doc days and has participated in this, because it was really a team effort. So we did do it. I'm not doing a sort of on that. Now, sort of. We did it. Our new website showcases the SIGs on there and some different additions. Except some of it's kind of buried. It's still like where the container image is, or the new image-based stuff like with Boot C. If you're interested in that, where would you go to get that? It's all there, but we don't highlight it right there on the front as different kind of additions that you can download. Or the alt images stuff that Troy will talk to you about tomorrow. You know, we have the live images from the alt images. Oh, by the way, we have, if you need to run a live image, we have USB keys with the live images that Troy Sig just produced. So, a few of the other things now we could highlight a little bit better, but we at least kind of now have the framework that we can start plugging that stuff into to showcase the work other than CentOS Stream that happens within the project. We completely rewrote the About page, which again had a whole lot of information in there about CentOS Linux and about, it was a really good About page for the CentOS project 6 years ago. We created a new contribute page. So one of the things I mentioned on the wiki, there was wiki.centos.org/contribute, I think, and that's where we always pointed to people to. That information was pretty outdated, and also it was on the wiki. So we have a new page just on CentOS.org right now. And for further information that links off, we have contributor information in the stream docs that you saw on the doc site, but we have kind of a single page now that has just high-level information about how to contribute. These are pretty good, actually, but we need to keep them current. Things like this can easily go out of date, and people like, oh, we did it, hooray, we're done, you know. And we can always use more eyeballs looking at the contribution docs in the stream docs. A lot of times for people who are regularly contributing, it's not always easy to realize when the docs are missing some piece of information, right? You know something, and you don't, it just doesn't occur to you that somebody else might not know this. So if you look at the docs and you say, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do at this point, give us that information and we can use that to improve it. We have a new SIGs page. So instead of the old wiki page for the SIGs, we have centos.org/SIGs, and it has a list of all of our active special interest groups. And they all have links to various things. Some of them have a landing page. Some of them have documentation, links to the repository and stuff. Actually, I think I have a screenshot. Yes, I do. So this is some of them: Automotive Cloud, Docs, Hyperscale. And you can see a few of them have the information button. They have a landing page right there on CentOS.org. Otherwise, there's also links off to the documentation or other things. So this, we did it, but not all of the SIGs have a landing page. We'd like to make landing pages for at least most of them that give you just kind of a high-level overview. And also, a few of them don't have docs. In particular, you'll notice that the docs SIG does not have docs. I don't know. Does it? Yes. It has a landing page that needs to be filled in, but it doesn't have a doc site. That's. Hold up. What? Damn, we do. Wait, is there information in there though? Yeah, good job. Okay. So we need to fill in the docs for the docs sig. That's me. I'm the problem. It's me. But we have a listing of SIGs, and it's really useful to find. It's really easy to find information now about all of our SIGs, including like where their repositories are and where you can go file bugs against them. We launched a new doc site, as I already said a few times, with all of the docs all included in there. Oh, here's where I'm calling out the doc SIG, but some of our SIGs don't have docs, so we're going to work on that. We created a quick docs doc, basically, and we took this straight from Fedora. We like stealing things from Fedora. We created these quick docs, and it's a place where you can just drop very standalone how-tos. If you want to give instructions on how to do a specific thing, you don't have to worry about how it fits into some larger manual structure. You can just write a how-to, put it straight there in the quick docs, and it's an easy place for what would traditionally be kind of wiki content, right? These like standalone pages. We didn't actually write all the how-tos, or really much of any of them that we wanted to. But we did make issues, so there's a link there that I'm sure you're all frantically typing in right now. That has some issues we filed, like these are some things that we would like to write some how-tos on. So we at least have that so people know places where they can contribute. And also because we have a place to put the issues now, like if there are things that you want, something that you think there should be some how-to, some quick doc on, you can just go in there and just file something, and that lets us know what information people are missing. So that's a good place to just ask for docs. And if we, maybe you put something in there and we're like, oh, maybe that should actually be here in the stream docs or somewhere else, that's cool. We'll figure it out. That's a good place to just drop an issue. So I think that's all of my we did it's. Yeah, so what now? We have a docs SIG that's doing stuff, and you can see our emails on there, CentOS docs at centos.org. There's a matrix channel, the CentOS docs on fedora.im, FastID. We will have a CentOS doc day here in Brussels after FOSDEM. We've been having these pretty regularly. I think the last 2 years at FOSDEM we've done a doc day, and we did one last year at Flock. These have been really useful for us. We get a lot of people in a room together, and we really kind of hammer through a lot of these issues, make a lot of progress. So we're going to have one here in Brussels. It'll be on Monday, the day after FOSDEM, and it's going to be hosted at the Meta office here in Brussels, so thanks to Meta for hosting us. If you are sticking around in Brussels and you want to work on docs, you're welcome to join. But talk to one of us, because I think you have to fill out a form or something to get into the Meta office. So I'll direct you at our Meta people. Other than that, we'll continue our work mostly on Matrix. I'll be honest, like most of us do not use the mailing list very much, and we kind of just chat and use issues and stuff to keep track of stuff. But you are welcome to use the mailing list if you want to get in contact with us. But we have our doc day where we'll work through some of these issues. And continue trying to make the web and the docs better. So any questions? Yeah, I should be my own mic runner.
Yeah, you mentioned that some of the content is buried, but is it searchable with the top search?
It is searchable.
Well, it's already way better then.
Yeah, it's searchable. One of my like minor complaints that I'd kind of like to look into is with MKDocs. The way it's set up right now, when you search, you're searching across all of the published docs, and I think there's times where it'd be useful, like if you're on the hyperscale docs that you want to search just within that particular document, which is not how it currently works. It'd be something to look into, but there is search on the site, so that's good. Any more questions?
So you talked a lot about CentOS SIG special documentation and your quick docs and stuff. So what about the documentation for core CentOS stream, i.e. the Red Hat Enterprise Linux documentation? How does that fit into this picture? Yes, I know I hurt you with this, but it needed to be asked.
Okay. So there is a whole lot of documentation for RHEL that is kind of usage documentation. So the documentation we have is not so much usage. It's not an install guide. It's not an administrator guide, right? It's not that. It's about the project really, and not about the operating system. The documentation that exists for RHEL is publicly developed, and we are able to adapt it and turn it into CentOS documentation. It's in ASCII doc, and it uses like these conditionals and substitutions that we can actually use to turn it into CentOS documentation. We would probably have to publish it separately because it's not going to go into the MKDocs workflow. If anybody is really, really interested in that, it's there, but it's been there. I've had talks with the RHEL docs people many times before, and it's always been a matter of we need to step up on the community side to do the adaptation. And I've so far failed to get a lot of people to do that. If that's your thing and you love doing ASCII doc conditional work, come talk to me.
So they actually made us a fork. I met with them in Brno almost 2 years ago now. So we have a fork of their docs. They're like thrilled if we want to make new things like a quick start. So they really want us to work on them. So as Shaun said, if someone's sticking around on Monday and would like to work on this, or if you don't want to stick around on Monday and work on it, but you still want to work on it, let us know.
Just thinking out loud here, do you think it's possible to have engagement from someone from the RHEL doc team to just work upstream? Like I have that specific corner case in mind when CentOS Stream 10 was already available, in fact, published to the mirror in June, but there was nothing, like no documentation about how to install what was new, no release note. Even if that was work in progress, would it have been good to have someone from upstream just to start working for themselves, the documentation, and to have something before? Do you think it's possible to engage with them?
I want to not throw anyone under the bus here because I've worked as a technical writer, and I understand the difficulties of deadlines and deliverables. They are technical writers are nearly always understaffed for the deliverables and the deadlines that they have, and they are very happy to work with us, but unless the management well above them decides to give them more staffing to have somebody who's really devoted to upstream, they're just not going to be able to spend a lot of time on it because they have to deliver docs for the products so that, you know, Red Hat's customers are happy and whatever. So I think that's the reality of it. Thanks.
Yes, but especially if they are under pressure, starting to work on that before, because that's work that needs to be done for them, for RHEL, even for the RHEL beta, there is a need for have some kind of documentation about the release note, about what's new in RHEL 10 beta. So if you start doing that directly on CentOS Stream, while the product is being worked on, I mean, not the product, but the first deliverable for CentOS Stream 10 is done, and they have conditional done directly from day one, nobody has to reverse engineering the documentation to make it CentOS compatible downstream because it will be work done directly upstream. No? I'm just trying to push the ball forward, in fact.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a conversation that has to happen with them, I think. So.
On this point, I would say last time I looked at the RHEL docs, a lot of the work to do is dealing with conditionals to where they talk about rel specifically and changing it so that it talks about CentOS. This is an area where I think there's room for collaboration also with the rebuilders, because it doesn't have to be CentOS, it could be dollar distribution, and because these are generic EL docs, they're broadly applicable to CentOS, to rel, to Alma, to Rocky, to Oracle, to whoever. So I think this is an area where there could be good opportunities for collaboration there as well.
I agree. And it's so, I've been inside of them some, and so some of it's really easy, like it's already marked, you know, like $ product name, and you just change that to CentOS stream or whatever. That's super easy. But some of it is you need to read through it and figure out where they're talking about, where they mention subscription manager, and they go, oh, well, that's not something we do, you know. So like you have to read through and look for those kinds of instances, and that's the harder work to do. And that's something we all share because none of us have subscription manager, correct? Correct. Yeah. All right.
It's in the repos.
Any more questions? Okay. Thanks, everybody.